we appreciate the time that you've given us to visit with you folks today about the story that we always have to tell within the human resources area. We have the service center is where you would call to reach one of the benefits specialists. They will direct your phone calls to us. I know a lot of you folks are not on campus, but if you do come on campus, you will come to 3810 Beardshire. And if you have any meetings with us, they will contact us and we will come down and greet you and take you to our offices. Definitely take time to view the benefit webpage. When you're out there, you'll see the different segments that we have. Click on, if you're faculty, click on faculty. If you're a faculty or a professional scientific, click on that, and then you'll have a drop down. You'll have all your benefits that are appropriate for your classification. We have 3 benefit specialists, myself, and what we do is take the last name, your last names, and break you down by alphabet. So I would typically take employees with last names A through K. My colleague Colleen Shalinsky will take L through P and T through Z, and my other colleague Jane Walter will take Q, R, and S. What I'm going to do today is just kind of give you a brief overview, and I only have 20 minutes, so I feel like I have to really talk fast to get through a lot of these things that I like to talk a lot about. So some of you folks, I know you're a mix of in the group today that are maybe brand new hires and maybe some folks that have worked with Extension and ISU for quite some time. For the new hires, you do have an enrollment deadline, so it's very important that you turn your forms in by that deadline. If you have an opportunity, and I know you're not on campus, we will do phone calls with you to go through your benefits. Definitely take time to give us a call. We'll walk you through all the forms that need to be completed and go into great detail about your benefits and what's offered to you. Just remember, if you new hire, the effective dates will be the first day of your employment. And other coverages first of the month, and we have no pre-existing conditions. Now, for you folks that have been here, and even sometimes even for a new hire, we have the mid-year change. So there's 3 opportunities that you have to enroll in your benefits. 1, the initial time, the initial enrollment period. Secondly would be your mid-year change. Mid-year change would be in the middle of the plan year. Our plan year is January 1 to December 31st. That plan year, you may have a qualifying event, marriage, death, divorce, birth, adoption, change of job status. Those are all the events that allow you to change what we call the tier of coverage. If you go from single to self and spouse, or self and spouse to self and family. Always work with our office. The event is going to determine what the effective date will be. The last opportunity that you have to make any changes is during the open change period. Our open change period is always the first working day in November to the Friday before Thanksgiving. So this year the dates are going to be November 1 to November 16th. Those are real key dates to kind of log in your calendar to make sure, make a note saying, look at my benefits, review the benefits. What we'll do is we will send you email notifications to let you know it's time to check on your benefits. Enrollment is starting, so be sure and pay attention to those emails. We do them in different ways. Sometimes we will say, just direct you to Access Plus, and the reason we are going to direct you to Access Plus is because that's where you can make your change. You can go in Access Plus and change your medical, your dental, your flex. If you're doing anything with the life insurances, that may require a statement of health to be completed, depending on the circumstances. We always prepare information. We have an information guide that we prepare and put on the benefit webpage. We also link it in Access Plus. And I know a lot of folks, when you purchase a new cell phone, most of us don't ever read the directions. We just start playing with the cell phone. When you get into Access Plus, if you want to just jump in and start playing around, you can do that. But we do have instructions. So if you stumble along and can't quite figure out what we need to do, definitely take time to read those instructions, and we'll give you that step-by-step process for the open change period. And effective dates for the medical and dental will always be February 1. Effective date for life could be, and flexible spending will be January 1, or it could be, the life insurance could be upon approval from Principal Financial Group. The one thing that we always instruct folks during the open change period, you need to review what your needs are. It's real important to understand what your needs are for your health and dental and flexible spending and all of your benefits. And take time to review those. What has happened during this last year with my family? Do I foresee any changes for the upcoming year? Ask yourself those questions and your family those questions. What do we need to do? And you may say, well, I really don't need to do anything. Well, that's fine. You don't need to make any changes. Everything will just roll over for the next year the exact way that you have what you're enrolled in currently. However, one thing that you do need to really remember is just because you don't want to change your benefits can change. So we could make administrative changes that if you don't take time to review that guide, you will be unaware of those changes. So it's real important to kind of keep that in mind. Medical and dental insurance, we have what we call the tier of coverage, yourself only, self and spouse, or domestic partner, so yourself and your children, you and your family, spouse, which would include spouse or partner and children. And we do have the double spouse option. That would be where both you and your spouse work for ISU, Iowa State University, or the state of Iowa. How to read your pay, and I won't go into this in detail because we have lots of phone calls with folks. It doesn't matter how long they've worked at the university. They could be a new hire, or they could have worked at the university for 25 years. And every month we get phone calls, how am I supposed to read my pay? So out on our benefit webpage, we do have just a snapshot of a payroll with a description on how to read my pay. So if you have any questions on how to read that, definitely take time to do that. ISU is a little bit different because they have the ISU plan credits. That's the money that Iowa State gives to you to spend for your health and your dental. It's added to your gross pay, and then we start subtracting out your benefits. So it's important to understand how that works. If you have any questions, certainly give us a call if you would like to. And B-based faculty, if there's any in the room today, the B-based faculty, we will take 3 deductions. If you're in a 9-month pay scale, we will take 3 deductions from the May pay. The medical insurance, just a brief overview, you have 3 options. You have the no coverage option, which means you have outside source for health insurance. So you don't need the health insurance from the university. Iowa State recognizes that. What they do is they will provide to you, they will actually give to you a $107 credit. The credit does not end up in your net pay. What it will do, it will first look to see if you have a premium to pay in the dental. If you don't have a premium to pay in the dental, it will automatically go into a flexible spending account, whichever one you have elected to have that deposited into. We have the HMO and we have the PPO. The HMO, they're both administered by Walmart Blue Cross and Blue Shield. They both have the Medco Pharmacy Benefit Manager. The HMO is your Iowa-based network. You would be required to select a primary care physician. Females can select a separate OBGYN if you choose to do so. Those physicians can be changed at any time. They are not locked in till the next open change period. Then the PPO style of plan is more the flexible plan where you have nationwide coverage. You don't need the referral from the primary care physician. So you have a little bit more flexibility with that PPO style of plan. The prescription, the pharmacy benefit manager is Medco. So one of the things, a lot of times what we hear, we have questions asked about their cards. When you have you're going to have a card from Wellmark, that card will be for your health insurance needs. If you're in the HMO, it will have your name on them, and everybody that's in the contract will have a separate card with their name on them, as well as with their primary care physician and female separate OBGYN. The PPO card will have just your names on them as the contract holders. The Medco card will be a separate card that you'll have. That will be for your prescription purchases. The prescription card will have your name on them as the contract holder. Our prescription has a 3-tier structure. You'll have a $10 generic copay, a 30% brand coinsurance, and a 50% non-preferred brand for 30-day supply. You could purchase a 90-day supply at the local pharmacy as well, but you will pay for all 3 months. The out-of-pocket maximum is $1,500 for single and $3,000 for family. This is in addition or separate from the PPO out-of-pocket maximum. And we do have mail order. I won't go through the full slide, but we do have mail order available as well. One key note would be if you have any maintenance medications that you take, definitely look at the mail order, because if they're generic, you will have no copay for those generic medications. The dental insurance is through Delta Dental, is the administrator of the plan. Once again, you have a no coverage option. So what would happen if you choose that you don't want the dental? The benefit credit that you receive from the university will first, if you have a premium in the medical side, it will decrease that premium on the medical. Then otherwise it would go into a flexible spending of your choice. You have two plans, the basic and the comprehensive. So those plans, you have the basic, you have $750 to spend per year for the care of your teeth. The comprehensive, you have $1,500 to spend for the care of your teeth, and there is a 3-year lock-in with the comprehensive. The key portion to always remember with the both the medical or the between the basic and the comprehensive. See, I'm talking too fast. I'm going way too, my mouth is going not as fast as my brain is. You have limitations every year for the care of your teeth. So what that means is you're allowed 2 cleanings and 2 oral evaluations for the year. So just make sure that you're aware of that when you go to the dentist, because if you go in and have a cleaning and then you have cleaning and oral evaluation, that will be one of each. If you go in and have a tooth repaired, that would become your second oral evaluation for the year. So just work with your dentist, understand your plan, always ask questions. We are oftentimes more advocates of our health insurance than we are of our dental insurance, but dental insurance is just as important. Termination COBRA, if you would resign from the university, our office will automatically send you the COBRA application paperwork. It is time sensitive. You have 30 days to report any event to us, so always report that event so we can send the COBRA paperwork out. You actually have 60 days to turn the COBRA paperwork into us, but it is very important if you need that extra coverage to make sure you take care of that in a timely fashion. Long-term disability. Long-term disability is an income replacement. If for some reason you are unable to perform your normal job duty, so there's a medical reason, it doesn't matter, it does not have to be one that happened on the job, it can be any medical reason. What the coverage will do for you is it will pay to you a portion of your income, it will pay into your retirement plan, it'll be your contribution and the university's contribution. If you're enrolled into TIAA, CREF, or VALIC, that contribution will not happen if you're enrolled in IPERS. It will also pay your health insurance or the life insurances. If you're enrolled in life insurance, the basic voluntary life insurances, the university will pay those premiums for you, and you'll still have the same value of coverage if you're on long-term disability. And lastly, what will happen is the university will continue to still pay those credits to you. So that is real key if you're on, would need to have the disability coverage. Always work with our office. There's a 90-day waiting period for that, and I'm always one who wants to be proactive. If you're in a situation, definitely contact our office on the front end of a 90-day waiting period so we can start walking through and working through that process of the long-term disability. Depending on where you're at in your hire, if you're a new hire, you may not have the coverage right now, but you will automatically have that after 1 year. It just automatically happens, no questions asked. You'll be enrolled in the plan. Then what you'll see on your payroll is you're going to see, it'll have a line that'll say long-term disability. You'll start seeing that on your payroll information. If you're a new hire and you applied for the coverage, you may have been approved or may have been denied. If approved, you are paying for that coverage for that first year. Will still automatically after 1 year, it will shift from you paying for it to the university paying for it. If you're denied, you just won't have coverage that first year. You'll still automatically have it after 1 year. Basic life insurance. This is, once again, you have a no coverage option. If you choose to not have the coverage at the university, if you feel like you have ample life insurance outside of the university, you can certainly take this as a no coverage. Once again, the premium that the university would pay to you for that life insurance coverage, we'll first look to see if a premium in the dental and the medical, no premium in medical, then look at dental, then it would go into lastly into a flexible spending account of your choice. The value of this basic life insurance is 2 times your annual salary if your journey in life ends to a natural cause. If your journey in life ends to an accidental cause, it's an additional 4 times your annual salary. This life insurance does have an accidental piece built in as well as a dismemberment. So for one example, the accidental, if your journey in life ends to a car accident and you're wearing your seatbelt, there will be an extra $10,000 that would be paid to your beneficiary. That's one example. This life insurance does reduce at age 65, and it reduces January 1 of the year you are going to turn 65. This is a term policy, so if you resign from the university, your coverage will be termed the end of the month of your last day worked. If you retire from the university, you've had the coverage for at least 10 years, this life insurance coming from 2 times your annual salary will now, as a retiree, be a value of a paid out death benefit of $4,000. Beneficiaries, it's so important to keep beneficiaries up to date, whether it's a name change, just a complete change of who you want as beneficiaries. These can be changed at any point in time during the year. The beneficiary form, change form, is on our benefit webpage. Primary beneficiaries, who would inherit the funds first. You can have more than one. Some of you may have, if you've worked here for a period of time, may have a very old beneficiary form. We have new forms now where you can, principal has provided us the new forms where you can have percentages. So for example, I could have my husband and I have 3 sons, so I could have my husband at 70% and I could have our 3 sons each at 10% if I choose to do so. So it's important to kind of know when you change that form and if maybe you need to do an update. Keep them updated. Contingent beneficiary would be the secondary or the second person, only paid if upon death of the primary. Voluntary life insurance is the other style of life insurance that you would pay for 100% as the employee. It's extra life insurance that you could purchase. We have 4 different levels. We have 1, 2, 3, or 4 times your annual salary. If you're a new hire, you would have had an option for guaranteed enrollment in option 1 or 2 times your annual salary. If you folks are, and even if as a new hire, if you chose to opt out at that point, during the open change period is one of these benefits where you may want to enroll in at this point in time. You would have to apply for the coverage, and principal will make the decision if you're eligible to have this coverage or if it would be denied. This coverage is portable, which means that if you resign from the university or retire from the university, it will continue for 1 full year until that following May, that you will pay the same premium you pay as an Iowa State employee, active employee. And then you would be thrown into a group plan and be able to continue that coverage. However, the coverage does terminate at age 75. And this, once again, does have accidental death and dismemberment as well. Same rule applies as with the basic life insurance. Dependent life would be if you want life insurance for your family, your spouse or children. You're required to be in voluntary and basic and voluntary to have dependent life. So it is important to follow that guideline. It would be, you have 2 levels to choose from for this coverage, and you pay a set premium. The flexible spending account, there are 2 options. You have the healthcare flexible spending and dependent care assistance program. ASI Flex administers this plan for us. This is a tax savings device. What it does is it lowers your taxable income. The money would go into an account for you within ASI Flex, and then you withdraw the money, and so then you would have that money reimbursed back to you without any taxes as well. This is optional participation unless you have those excess credits. Then you will have default to a choice of yours, either dependent care or healthcare flexible spendings. The key, there's one point that I want to bring out that will be happening in 2013 with the healthcare flexible spending. The annual contribution is reducing from $5,000 to $2,500. So that's kind of key information if you're one who is maybe looking at orthodontics or something for a child, that is going to change. The dependent care assistance program, the annual maximum is $5,000 per household. The key with the flexible spending is to use it or lose it. You have to make sure you are going to incur your expenses during the calendar year. If you're a new hire, it would be effective date to December 31st. For the rest of you, it will be January 1 to December 31st. So it's very important that you remember to incur those expenses. You can claim them anytime throughout the year. You will have until April 30th of the following year to claim those expenses from the prior year. Reimbursement forms are available through ASI, their website, as well as through our website. We link you to ASI. You can have direct deposit. You can have automatic reimbursement if you have the health and dental insurance through the university. Just a reminder, it's a use it or lose it plan. Make sure you calculate correctly, because it's not fun to lose that money that you've put into that account. Employee assistance, the magnet that we provided to you today, that you can put that on your refrigerator or your office, if you have a magnetic place in your office, I guess. This is where you have, if you're facing any type of personal problem, you have free and timely access to a short-term counselor that's available to you. The services are through the employee and family resources. You are allowed 3 one-on-one sessions every year, and it could be for separate issues. So if I have a personal issue, or I have an issue with working with my dad or my husband, then I actually have 3 different types of issues that I could work with the counselors with. The phone line there are no limits, so you can call them as often as you want. There are no limits to those phone calls. It's available to all benefits eligible employees and family members. Avēsis eyewear, where am I on time? Avēsis eyewear, this is your health insurance will cover the eye exam. This is for the hardware, so it's available. It's an optional benefit to you. You can enroll during the open change period. The effective date is always going to be February 1. So if you're one who wears glasses or contacts, it may be something that you want to consider. Sick leave conversion, this is not applicable to B-based faculty. So if you are one who has sick leave, once you build up to 240 hours, you earn 12 hours of sick leave every month. And once you've reached 240 and maintain 240, you're allowed to take 4 hours of that 12 and put that into another column, so to speak. So you have the vacation column, you have the sick leave column, and then you would have a converted sick leave column. To sign up for that, you would have to go to the payroll website and look under their forms, and you'll sign. It's on the bottom half of the leave form, I believe. It's kind of hard to find that form, but that is the form you turn into your supervisor, and then they would turn it in, I'm sure, to Kayla for processing. And I said the 96 hours. The sick leave, the only time sick leave is paid out is if you retire from the university. The maximum that would be paid out would be $2,000. Otherwise, if your contract allows, you would be paid out vacation and converted sick leave at retirement or resignation. Catastrophic leaves and donations, this is probably the most heartwarming benefit that we have here at the university. It's where fellow colleagues can donate to you, or you could donate to someone who is out of work. They may be applying for long-term disability, or they may not. If they're out of work for at least 30 days, we as fellow colleagues can donate to them our vacation or our converted sick leave. It does not extend their employment at the university, but what it does, it allows them to continue to receive pay as well as their benefits. So it is a great benefit. Then another nice part about the benefit is that it's a statewide benefit. My daughter-in-law works for the University of Iowa. I know, she works at the University of Iowa. So I could donate to her my vacation or my converted sick leave, or vice versa, as well as the University of Northern Iowa, or any state department of, so the Department of Transportation, State Department of the Education, those folks as well. The retirement plans, you have 3 choices. You have IPERS, Iowa Public Employees Retirement System, TIAA CREF, Teacher Insurance Annuity Association, College Retirement Equity Fund, and VALIC, the Variable Life Insurance Company. This is irrevocable. Whatever choice you made on your initial hire, you cannot change this. If you would resign from the university and come back as a rehire, you would be automatically re-enrolled in what you've elected at the initial hire. We know the future of IPERS, depending on where you are in the vesting period, I will touch on that. It is a 7-year vesting period, just to make note of that if you're a newer hire. And then this is just a slide that shows the comparison of your contributions. And definitely, if you're saving for retirement, utilize the resources that are available with Ann our retirement specialist, TIAA, CREF, VALIC, or IPERS. Supplemental retirement, this is saving extra for retirement. This is an account where you can establish at any point in time if you have enrolled in IPERS possibly, you can always go into a supplemental where you put extra money in. We follow the IRS guidelines. Right now it's the max of $17,000 that you can put into this particular account. And that amount changes yearly according to the IRS. This can be either pre-tax or post-tax. So it is a great way to save extra for retirement. So what you would be doing is establishing a separate contract, possibly with TIAA CREF. You would work with TIAA CREF either online or personally work with them to do your allocations and build your profile. You work with our office with telling us how much you want to have to put into that account deducted from your pay. That form is on the TIAA CREF website and is also on our benefit webpage as well. Just briefly, some value-added benefits that we know are available to you. The state of Iowa offers Perk Spot. Definitely go take time to review that. That's where I know there's discounted Adventureland tickets. I know this year was one of the things that was out there. Principal Financial Group, you can write a will, healthcare power of attorney, financial power of attorney, all very important documents to have regardless of where you're at in age and with your family lifestyle. Wellmark, you can request online electronic benefits, the EOBs. You can have those online. They do also offer Blue 365. If you become a member of Blue 365, they'll send you emails with different discounts. I know recently there was a discount for Reebok at 20% for all kinds of different Reebok apparel. And also Delta Dental. You can also subscribe through online to receive your explanation of benefits. And they offer a vision discount program. So if you're not interested in the Avēsis discount program, you could just not pay any extra premium for your dental insurance, but you could purchase it allows you to purchase glasses if you go to an iMed and at a 20% discount. I'm switching gears to Andrea now. Thank you.
Thanks, Geraldine. And we're kind of going over things, we're throwing a lot at you really fast. And we may have about 5 to 10 minutes at the end for some questions if you have some. I'm going to check out that Perk Spot thing. I didn't know about that. Yeah. So, as Kayla said, my name is Andrea Little, and I work with Geraldine Rasmussen in Human Resources, and I work in the Employee and Labor Relations division of that. I like to kind of explain what I do, how I explain it to my toddler son. He asked me what I do at work, and I told him that I help people make good choices. And sometimes I help people when they've made bad choices too. So that's really distilling it down to its purest form, but that's a lot of what my area does in HR. We help people stay compliant with the collective bargaining contract between the state of Iowa and AFSCME, which covers our merit employees at the university. We also help administer various ISU policies and procedures, state of Iowa law, federal law. We help people stay compliant with those things. We also, as part of that, we assist with performance management and disciplinary action for those employees that have made maybe some poor choices. We assist with FMLA leave policies and procedures. We are a resource for consultation and assistance with conflict resolution, complaints, and problem solving for various employee issues that you may have. We also administer the employee disability accommodation process that's run through our office. We assist and coordinators the workers' compensation program at the university. So if an employee has an on-the-job injury or they think they have an on-the-job injury, a lot of that is coordinated through our office. We also offer some professional development opportunities for ISU and faculty. We have some performance management training sessions that we offer periodically. You can find that on Access Plus and look to see what the upcoming sessions are. And we also offer FMLA training regarding policies and procedures. I'm going to touch on that, but if you're interested in that, you should sign up for a course because we offer more in-depth training. We also assist in conducting the new employee orientation sessions, and a lot of you may have attended that or due to attend that soon. I'm going to go a little more in depth on performance management. The purpose of performance management is to help the employee be successful in his or her position. So some of the resources that we have are training courses, as I discussed. You can find that in Link to HR and Access Plus. You want to check out the Human Resource website on our ISU website. It has information there for performance management. There's links to different issues or topics that you may address as an employee or a supervisor. There's topics there for PNS, non-organized merit, and AFSCME employees. I put the link in your handout that you have, so if you want to check that out, I would encourage you to do that. We also have an HR department toolkit that's located in the Link to HR. There's templates there for performance improvement plans, annual reviews, sample letters for various issues that you may have regarding performance concerns. We also have on our Link to HR the PNS and AFSCME disciplinary policies, the merit rules for the non-organized merit employees, and also an outline of the AFSCME disciplinary process. There is a process that you have to go through if it involves a merit employee, and it's important to know that if you're in the midst of that. We also have some tips regarding basics of performing employee investigations. So if you do have any kind of performance concerns, or you just maybe want to run something by us, or you need some assistance with that, we encourage you to go through our office, give us a call, and we can help you work through that and direct you to the right people or the right direction that you need to go with that. I don't know if many of you are familiar with FMLA, but the Family and Medical Leave Act is a federal law that was passed in 1993 that provides eligible employees with certain rights surrounding a protected leave of absence. It covers unpaid leave for a qualifying event, job protection, reinstatement, and continued health benefits. Many of you may not be eligible for FMLA at this point, as you are a new employee or fairly new employee. You must have worked for ISU for at least 12 months and for at least 1,250 hours in the previous 12 months. You also must have a qualifying condition. The qualifying conditions are birth or adoption of a child, care for a spouse, partner, a child, or a parent who has a serious health condition. You can also have FMLA for your own serious health condition. If there's exigency due to a family member called to active duty, FMLA would cover you. Care for a covered service member would also qualify. At the bottom of this slide, there are some resources that you should look at if this is something that you think may apply to you. We have a flow chart that has a lot of links for some of the paperwork that you would need to submit to see if you qualify for FMLA. As indicated before, we also have additional training courses that you can utilize offered by my department. I'm also going to touch on the disability accommodation process. Individuals with physical or mental impairments who are otherwise qualified to perform work or pursue their studies may request reasonable accommodation to enable them to overcome workplace barriers. The request must be reasonable and not cause undue hardship to the department. There are steps that you need to take. If you think that this is something that you would like to utilize, you would need to submit a disability accommodation request form to your supervisor or to my department in ERLR. The employee and also the healthcare provider would need to complete a documentation of disability form and return that to our department to see if this is the process that you need to be utilizing. In my department, the supervisor and the employee at that time will start an interactive process where we take a look at the requests that the employee has made and to see if the department can reasonably accommodate those requests. At the bottom, just reminding you to contact your supervisor or my office at the phone number listed or this email address if you need any assistance for yourself or an employee that may need to go through this process. I'm also the workers' compensation coordinator on campus. Workers' compensation provides benefits to employees who sustain injuries or illnesses on the job. The injury or illness must have arisen out of or occurred in the course of their employment. The type of benefits that are provided are payment of all reasonable and necessary medical care incurred to treat the injury. And this medical care in the state of Iowa, the employer does direct medical care for workers' compensation injuries. And Sedgwick Claims Management Services is our third-party administrator. So once we receive a workers' compensation first report of injury, we send that on to Sedgwick, and then they determine compensability and direct medical care at that time. Other benefits are weekly compensation due to incapacity to work, or if there's permanent impairment resulting from the work comp injury. Any reasonable and necessary transportation expenses that are incurred going to various appointments and specialists. There's also prescription and mileage reimbursement. Also in this department, we also keep track of all OSHA recordable injuries, and we report that to the government. It's very important for all of you to know that if there's any kind of injury or accident occurring at work, it must be reported to your supervisor. If you're ever in doubt, just let your supervisor know. And if you are a supervisor, you can contact my office and we can help work through that to see if it is covered by workers' compensation or if a first report of injury needs to be filed. So even if the injury doesn't require treatment, please report it. The supervisor and the employee must file the first report of injury in Access Plus. So once you go into Access Plus, you'll go to the employee tab listed at the top. On the left side of the page, it will say work injury. Click on that, hit continue, and then it'll say submit a new first report of injury. If you ever have questions about getting there, just call us and we can help walk you through that. The supervisor is also required to review the first report of injury in Access Plus, and then they have to route that FROI in the system to our department. Once we receive it in our department through Access Plus, we file it with the state so Sedgwick can review and determine compensability right away. And then if they need to direct treatment or issue benefits, they can do so as soon as possible. If you do have a workplace injury and it's a bad injury, please call 911 right away and just seek treatment wherever you need to go. If it's non-life-threatening or it's something that can wait a couple hours or a couple days, make sure you report the injury to your supervisor. Your supervisor will then work to arrange a medical appointment. Medical appointments are arranged at Occupational Medicine and McFarland Clinic here in Ames. And I realize as extension employees, you may not be close to Ames. There are different providers that we authorize treatment to throughout the state. And we have a list, the link is listed on your handout as to what the authorized medical treatment providers are. Again, if you have any questions about that, call my office. So other employee responsibilities, just gonna reiterate, notify your supervisor of the injury, obtain medical care from an authorized treatment provider. It's underlined. It's very important that you go through authorized medical treatment provider, otherwise you may run the risk of incurring those costs on your own, because if it's a work comp claim and you've gone to your personal physician, your personal health insurance may not cover that because they say this is a work comp claim. So it's really important that you let your supervisor know so they can direct medical care appropriately. Keep records of dates of medical appointments, mileage, and expenses, because many of those things are reimbursable. Make sure you attend all scheduled appointments related to your workers' compensation claim. If you skip one of them, then you run the risk of losing your benefits. Make sure you provide your supervisor with a work status report that's completed and signed by the authorized medical provider prior to returning back to work. This is also very important because if your doctor has assigned restrictions on your job, then we need to know so we can see if we can accommodate that safely. If it can't be accommodated by your department, then you may also be eligible for benefits, weekly benefits paid out by our provider. Let's see. Supervisor responsibilities, obviously working with your employee to make sure first report of injury is filed, arranging medical treatment for the employee. Also, something that some supervisors aren't aware of, you need to complete a lost and restricted time report each week that an employee is working with one or more medical restrictions that impacts their job duties. Also, if they're off work, we need to know that. When you file those weekly reports in Access Plus, that updates our system automatically, and that goes out in our OSHA log that's issued once a year with the government. So it's really important that we have accurate tracking of that, and I'll probably send out annoying emails to you if you're a supervisor and you forget to file those. So we don't want that to happen. Make sure you review the work status report with the employees, compare the restrictions with daily work duties, provide your employees with all the forms. I've listed the forms, and they can also be found on our website, which I've provided a link at the bottom of the handout. And if the employee has missed 3 or more consecutive days of work, then they will likely be eligible for FMLA if they're employed here for longer than a year and have worked the right amount of hours. So you need to work through our office to make sure that they get FMLA coverage. I think that's all I have for now. We have about 5 minutes for questions if you have any.
This is for Geraldine. The value-added benefits, where do we go to find those?
If you go to our benefit webpage, we have the web addresses there. So I think we have, yeah, it's on the benefit webpage. I know that it is. We have a separate page that just lists a lot of the different websites. So go there. We've got the Blue 365 as well as the perk spot. It's on the bottom of the page. The lady in the black.
Is there a separate discount card for the 20% off on eyewear for dental?
No, you use the same. You just show them your Delta dental card, but you are required to make sure when you go into the provider, just ask the question: do you accept the IMED? Because they have to accept IMED to be eligible for that 20% discount. But it's the same, it's the craziest thing, eyes and teeth, but they have that discount. In the back of the room there?
What is Perk Spot?
Perk Spot is just, I'm not sure, it's the state of Iowa discount program. That's all that I know. It's just, I don't know, the state of Iowa came up with the name. It's just a separate benefit program that offers a lot of different discounts.
And if you, I know, for instance, I just recently learned that we receive a discount through Verizon. Depending on your cell phone service provider, you may be eligible for a discount, so that might be on there. I think that might be on our.
We don't, there are lots of discounts that are available, that we don't have, that aren't just on Perk Spot. Andrea said Verizon, US Cellular as well offers discounts. But I don't know, yeah. You just have to do some research and ask the questions. I even went to a department store one time and I was negotiating a price and they said, are you in education? And I said, yes, I work for Iowa State University. And she said, okay, here's 20% off. It's like, okay. I didn't argue. Always ask, I guess. Yes?
You've been receiving information about the long-term.
Oh, John Hancock long-term care.
Do you have any recommendations?
Well, you know, you're coming up into your time frame. You have just a limited amount of time to make a decision. What we have, John Hancock was the long-term care service that we offered a while back, about 6 years ago, and I think it was effective June, 6 years ago. If folks had the opportunity to enroll, they also had the opportunity to enroll anytime throughout the year, up until December 31st of last year. December 31st is when John Hancock basically said, we are not going to offer this coverage to new people. Didn't matter if it was Iowa State employees, they were not going to offer that to any employees any longer, they weren't going to offer the long-term care insurance program. So what they did was then, they're having to increase their prices. It depends on what you were enrolled in. I was enrolled just with the plain $200 a day, none of the 2 extra perks, the non-forfeiture benefit and the inflation link. I didn't enroll in either one of those. My premium went up a little bit, but not as much as some of those that were enrolled in the inflation link piece, that added benefit with the inflation link. Those went up substantially on some folks. And it depends on your age and your level of coverage. So you have to make the decision, do I continue on with John Hancock, or we are going to be offering, the Board of Regents has contracted with another company. We'll have more information in the open change period coming up here shortly. But in February, there will be information and webinars and information about the new company that's being offered. The effective date will be April 1. I'm not at liberty to discuss a whole lot about that right now, but definitely it is coming down the pipeline. One thing to remember, you will be older. Long-term care insurance is always based on your age. So when you start thinking, do I end this coverage and enroll with the new coverage, you're going to be 6 years older. So take that into account. Long-term care insurance is always about the same. It's always the per day amount and it's always the per year, and it's always based on your age. So those are the factors that you will have with the new one as well. One question that I was asked yesterday that I'm not sure of the answer, I said refer to John Hancock. And this is what you could certainly do as well, ma'am. They asked if I choose to stay with John Hancock now to guarantee my coverage because of that what-if scenario. We don't know what tomorrow holds for any of us. Could I drop it at another point in time, and maybe once they got enrolled in the new company, if it's a better deal, could I drop John Hancock? I don't know the answer to that, but I would certainly ask John Hancock if that's really what you're thinking about doing. Just remember, and I am assuming, I don't know for sure if they'll have guaranteed enrollment or not. I don't know. My spouse, I also have the coverage for my spouse. I probably won't change his because of new diagnoses that he's had since 6 years ago. He wouldn't be eligible for the new coverage. So for him, I'm definitely keeping his. But mine, maybe I could change or I reduce my coverage. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Good questions. I think that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just want to touch on a couple basic HR before you guys run off. That way we'll go ahead and allow for a little bit more time for question and answers. And I know we're throwing a lot of information out to you guys, and I put 2 handouts in your folders. There's one on Extension HR Services. Kind of describes, it gives you the link to our website, all of the things that can be found on our website. Some of the forms that they were talking about are also on our page. A little more ease to finding a lot of stuff if you start at our HR page. Our contact information is on there as well. Again, if you can't find an answer, don't know where to go, that's what we're here for. Me and Dawn are the HR. We can either answer any of your questions or get you to the right people. Also on that page, it also talks about the University Policy Library. Any policy that Iowa State has created, is in the process of making, it will be on that page. It gives a link to the website. So if you have a question, start there. If you're not having any luck, again, our phone lines are open, our email is open, you can contact us. Also, the second form that I stuck in your folder is about Access Plus. I just want to reiterate, they talked about some of the links within Access Plus that you can find, but some of the less well-known spots, I guess where we get more questions, address change. If you have a home or an office change, and I know if you change your base county, any of that, you have to go on Access Plus to change it. We do not have the ability to change that, so you have to go through Access Plus. Again, your benefits.
Can I add something to
yeah,
that?
Go ahead.
If you change your address on home address on Access Plus, it will automatically change it to the Wellmark Insurance, Delta Dental Insurance, ASI Flexible Spending, and Medco, not the retirement.
Okay. Another couple things, any professional development grants, if you're going to some professional training, you want to apply for a grant for that, you do that through Access Plus. The same with your tuition grants. If you're looking to take classes through Iowa State or any other accredited university, you go through Access Plus to fill out the paperwork to get that going. There's HRS training on, you can sign up for actual classes on there, but I also want to reiterate there's web-based training on there. Discrimination and harassment prevention, drug-free workplace. Anybody that sits on a search committee will have to do a training on there as well. If you have not done that yet, I will probably be in touch with you. We do keep a record of who does that, and everyone is required to do that. So again, if you have any questions on that, feel free to contact me. That's pretty much what I want to cover. So again, are there any more questions for me, for Extension HR, or benefits, or employee relations?
How do you get a state of Iowa ID?
State of Iowa ID. Are you talking the state of Iowa or ISU? State of Iowa.
Yeah, and they'll send a form in. It'll have to be signed off by a supervisor, but you can go to any driver's license place to get it.
I just tried to get one, and I need to make sure that someone on campus signs that, because they won't take it.
That would come to our office. We'll get them.
Okay,
So.
Patty Lewis is going to try and track that down for me.
Yep, you can send it in my office. Yes.
What is the state of Iowa ID?
you know, I'm not 100% sure, but I know a lot of our field staff get that. Go ahead. If someone has the right answer.
Yeah, so it's just basically it's got your photo ID of just like your driver's license or something.
Goes like this.
Just like that. If you ever want to go to a hotel and stay with the state rate, it's
Okay.
I think the
Okay.
ISU cards work too.
But a lot of them don't have it there.
Well,
ISU.
I've never been asked for one until
Yeah.
last night. It's the first time I've ever been asked.
Okay. So anyone that didn't hear, I'm repeating this for the video as well. The state of Iowa, and because if you have an ISU card, that will also access. Some will take that as, especially local around Ames if you're here, but if you have the state of Iowa card, it will get you the same discounts. It's just saying that you're a state of Iowa employee. So, and again, you can go to the driver's license to apply for that. They'll need to send it to our office, so you can have our address to send it to for our sign off as well.
Just Ted, just a little bit of information on that card. If you try to use it for a hotel, there is the state government rate, there's the state employee rate at some hotels, and they are different. Usually the employee rate is lower than the state government rate. Okay, so make sure you ask for the right one.
Okay. Any other questions?
Where do you go to get the ISU card?
For an ISU card, you can stop in Beardshire Hall on campus, ground floor. I forgot the
Card. It's the card office.
Yeah, I forgot the room number on it, but there's a student center right when you walk in the building. It's right across. It's the ISU card office. So. And also, just on our website, there is an actual tab for new staff orientation. Everything that has been handed out in your packets today, once the videos are done, they will be uploaded there. Any additional information, the 4 presenters for the panel that we had earlier, their information will be out there as well. So you can bookmark the human resource page. There's a lot of information on there.